Episode 78. Whoa, the most gangster episode when it comes to personal, powerful stories, mindset changes. Michele Kehrer, founder, owner of Balance Chicago. We got into it with her. Michele broke it down. She opened up. She's an open book. Super positive person, powerful person. Her whole thing was she was marketing bald. That's right, people. This woman had cancer not once, but twice. Extremely powerful story about her saying, I'm not going to give up, continuing to work through her chemo, through her remission. And she was out there doing it. No shame in her game, and she's come out a completely different person. Meanwhile, she also did rack up a whole lot of debt while she was investing in herself and in her business. The woman has come out of it with huge rewards, what she describes as freedom. That's right. Freedom. George Michael, may you rest in peace. She teaches about networking. She teaches about how to set company goals, how to make sure your day-to-day role changes as a leader, as an owner. She's not in her business that much. She goes in sometimes for 7 minutes a day, if she even goes in. But she is super connected with her employees. She knows what's going on in her business. You're about to learn a lot about life, about fighting through your business, fighting through your illnesses. Sit back, relax, and learn a lot here. Peace, y'all. All right, so now I feel like this is a good lead-in. So, like, okay, so you own your business. Now you have challenges and there's opportunities, right? What would you say one of your biggest challenges in owning this business and investing in yourself? Times where you were like, shit, I don't know if I should invest in myself at this point. Like, did you ever have those kinds of experiences?
Oh, multiple times.
Really?
For sure.
What's one of the biggest that comes to your mind?
As you say it, there's two. And I don't know how to say this. Like, I'm just gonna tell what happened, and it is what it is.
Sure.
So I was a year into business, and I was still married at the time.
And that first year is always like rocky, right? Like first year of business is like, we might fail, we might succeed, who knows?
Right. Everyone's like, great, you have a business. And everyone is talking behind your back being like, no chance she's going to make it. Right. And then when you do something great, they're like, good job. No chance she's going to make it. Yeah, like, and it's really funny. This is an aside. But, once you get to 1 year in business, everyone's like, you did it. We're still saying, never going to make it. And then you get to 5 years and then everyone comes and they pat you on the back and they're like, you finally did it. And I'm like, what happened the last 4 years you're telling me I made it? You
finally did it.
They're like, oh yeah, that was all lies. That was just, we didn't actually, once it's like kind of like you 5 year mark, you get like a gold star. And then if you make it to 10, then people are like,
right.
Now
you're in a different category.
Now you're in the club. Now you're good. It's like, wait, why did it take that long? And
they want you to prove yourself. Right.
So for your first year in business, though, you think it's perfect. Everything's perfect. Right? You have the perfect idea and the perfect everything, and it's all great. And
unicorns and rainbows.
Totally. And to me, I was like, oh, I have the perfect marriage. It wasn't. I had a perfect business. It wasn't. I had perfect health. I didn't. So in a 3-week span, I was like, wow, I'm getting out of this marriage. This is not going well.
Wow.
My business turned a year
after a year and a half.
It was a year. Like a year in business, and it was something along those. I don't even
around
know.
A year in the marriage.
Whatever it was. Yeah. I'm not very good with dates.
All good.
So it was so September. Then 2 days later, my business turned a year old, and 2 weeks later, I found out I had cancer.
Wow.
It was rough.
In a 3-week span.
Yeah.
That is something.
So I was like, son of a gun.
Let me just get this straight. So the business turns a year, and that first year is obviously rocky. Who knows what's going to happen? Then it sounds like you chose to leave the marriage.
I did.
It wasn't working for you.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. And you're like, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. You pull yourself up by your bootstraps. I'm going to get divorced. It's a big deal. I've been through it. I know it's really hard. And then did the health condition, the cancer, come after you decided to get divorced?
Yeah, 3 weeks.
Wow.
You got the diagnosis like weeks later.
Wow. And I mean, that's a time when a person would want support from something like a significant other.
Right.
But if it wasn't working, it probably wouldn't have been the support you needed, right?
And everyone says, well, what would have happened if it would have been reversed? You found out your cancer when you were still left.
What a question.
And that's a great question, or it's a hypothetical question. I suspect my answer still would have been yes.
I would suspect the same thing.
Or at least I hope it would have been.
Yeah, because I mean,
that's not like you just said it. You hit the nail on the head of like, that's not the sport I would have wanted.
Right.
So, better to have no support than
at least from that person. Then you go to mom, dad, whoever else,
other
best
people,
friend,
whatever it takes. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's right.
So.
That's right. Wow, what a 3-week window.
Yeah, and so
did you close your business down when you learned you had cancer?
Nah.
So balance, Chicago stayed alive.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I was and so did I. Thankfully, yay! Not gonna.
Here you are, baby.
And I did too.
Right. Okay, so you learned you have cancer, and so to the extent you're willing to share, what kind of cancer was it, or do you prefer not to say?
Breast cancer. I'm an open book. I'm happy to share and be like, this is what I went through, and this is what people can go through, and
yes, exactly.
and you can come out at the other side. Like that's the big lesson for me is you can come out no matter what life is throwing at you. And when it totally fucking sucks, and it totally fucking sucks sometimes, there's another way. The darkest day is just right before it's going to get good. It's going to get good.
Woo. That's powerful.
Yeah.
Okay, so all this happens, and you're like, I'm going to keep this business going, and I'm going to deal with this breast cancer.
Yeah, and the weird good thing about having those three things at the same time, if you want to find
silver lining,
yeah, totally, is you could never take one too seriously. So I would get bad news about cancer, and then I would go, oh crap, I need to pay the bills, and I need to get new patients in the door, and then my ex would do something ridiculous about the divorce.
Totally.
So it was just okay, I can't. There was no time to wallow.
Fuck him.
There's no time to be
fuck the doctor. Fuck the business. That would just be horrendous.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. I'm sure some people may not have the attitude you experienced, the attitude you had at that time, and they do close the business, and they do give up on their health, and they do go into victim mentality with their ex.
Yeah.
And that is a difficult place to be. Your point here is people who might be susceptible to doing that, you actually have another choice. That's what your experience and you're saying.
Well
is that
said.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. That's totally exactly right. Wow. Yeah.
I feel you. I mean, I went through it. So I was 29. I went through my divorce, very difficult divorce. And I didn't, let's see. It felt like such a black tunnel. I didn't know where I was going. I was in the room trying to find the light switch, and I just couldn't find it at all. And it felt like for months, years. And in the same moment, I had a front row seat to the financial crisis. I was working at JP Morgan, and that was exactly, I was in that role that was kind of watching the whole thing unfold, and I feel like I knew too much. And so I'm all right, so my personal life's falling apart, and my work feels like it's falling apart. People are getting fired left and right. Obama just called us fat cat bankers, and it basically feels like I'm going to get let go any minute. So, okay, lost, I'm losing my marriage. I'm going to lose my job probably. What am I going to be left with? And it just, I remember feeling immense anxiety at all times. And I don't know, there would be tears on many days and a lot of grief. I'm not going to lie. I went and experienced that. And I don't know, there'd be days where I'd pull it together. You know what I'm saying? Where it's I just dig deep and I'm talking to myself basically, you're gonna be okay, you can be okay, you will be okay. I began to pray more. That was a very powerful thing, trying to find a higher power to find strength, and I experienced that and I benefited from that. That really was powerful and works for me. So I don't know, that reminds me of that, and lo and behold, I actually kept my job and had my best years thereafter.
Yeah, you shifted your mindset. I mean, that's what it is, right? It's all a mindset. And this is kind of thing we're talking about. And the consciousness stuff that we practice, it's just your mindset. So it's you can come at it and go, wow, this is the craziest thing ever. And if you just to go into a weather analogy, the eye of the hurricane is the most peaceful space.
The eye of the hurricane is the most peaceful, the safest place?
The safest spot, right in the center.
Is that
you
right?
Step 1 foot out any direction and you're toast, but
shit.
Right there. So if you can find your center in the midst of chaos, you're good.
Wow.
It doesn't matter what the world is happening. It doesn't matter what your neighbor's doing, what your wife is doing. It's but how can you stay centered? How can I stay centered? And finding my own center was the thing that really helped me shift through all the hard times, that when I wanted to give up, and believe me, there was many days that
me too.
And I was no, get centered, get still, choose me.
Wow. Do you still see patients?
Not much. Sometimes. It's fun. I love it. So it's fun to kind of see some patients every so often.
Where in your business do you use this cancer experience sometimes in order to move things forward?
I think whenever it comes up, whenever it's necessary.
So you might use it with patients.
Yeah.
You might use it with employees.
Right. And go like, hey guys, I know this is rough right now. And choose you. Choose us. Like, let's keep doing this even though it's tough. Like, even though we got bad news today, let's keep going. Because what we always know is it will always get better.
That's powerful. All right. So you continue your business through this traumatic experience.
Yeah.
How does your business go in that year while you have cancer? I mean, how are you able to basically go through chemo or whatever you needed to for healing purposes and remission and all that, and run your business?
It was I had an office manager. Her name was Alma. She was amazing and inspiring too. She's a single, or at the time was a single mom, and her daughter and I shared the same birthday. And so I just kind of like really took like kindred spirit of like, oh man, this is awesome. So I have to do this not just for me. Like, by choosing to keep a business open and by choosing to go through this and fighting, I'm doing this for something else, someone else. And those
for
days,
Alma and her daughter.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I distinctly remember this like it was yesterday. I was going through chemo, so I'm totally bald. I'm completely broken out in hives. I am having I had a full anaphylactic shock reaction. I was laying on my bed.
What's anaphylactic shock?
Where you stop breathing.
Oh, that's like panic attack?
No, not panic attack. So like an allergic reaction.
Oh.
Like a full body allergic reaction where you
So stop breathing sounds like you die.
Yeah.
So you're in that state?
Yep.
Okay, then what happened?
Thankfully, my doctors were nearby and fixed it and got me to breathe again.
Wow. So this is in the hospital?
Yeah.
Okay. I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's ask all the questions you want.
Mm.
And so it was after that. So I would have chemo on Thursday, and I would be back to work on Saturday or Monday because I had to.
Holy shit.
Like if I wasn't working, if I wasn't seeing patients, if I wasn't marketing, we didn't have anything to have.
You would market with hives and...
Totally bald. Yep. I just did it. I walked in. I was like, Doc, I'm like, hi, Michele. I had changed the name of my company back then. It was called Lifestyle Physical Therapy and Balance Center. I said, I own the physical therapy practice down the street. And they're like, what? I'm like, no big deal. I have cancer. You know, it's not contagious. Send me your patients. I want to get them better.
They would look at you like you're crazy.
I'm probably.
You were fucking crazy.
Yeah, but it's the only way to get it done, right?
That's right,
you got to
baby.
hustle. So... Yeah, it's
huge props to you.
Thanks.
Talk about like letting go of self-consciousness and letting go of being embarrassed. I don't, I imagine these days you get less embarrassed in general.
Yeah, I just laugh at myself all the time. Like, there's always a good story of something I've done that's totally nonsensical. That
it sounds to me like if people want to, for example, shed some of their self-doubt or self-consciousness, as you're going through your shitty times in life, because we all are. It's almost like, how can one find the attitude you found, which was like, I'm just going to fucking do this.
Yeah.
I don't care if people see the depression on me or the anxiety on me or whatever on me. I'm going to, or the cancer on me. I'm just going to do it. Yeah, yours is like a physical manifestation, so it seems like it's even more powerful in some ways.
Yeah, I mean, it's very clear. Like, walking down the street, I'm bald. Like, there was no hiding that. And people could put a hat or a wig on it, but that just didn't feel right to me. Like, it just didn't feel like, yeah. And it seemed complicated to figure out how to put a wig on. I was like, I don't think I look good in a hat. I mean, it was just easier just to shave all this stuff off. Thankfully, it all grew back though. I'm
Look at that.
Happy about it.
Yes.
So
wonderful hair for those who are not watching on YouTube.
So yeah, but back to that dark day of like, I'm laying on my bed and I tried to get up and I couldn't pick my head up off the pillow. I was too tired. I was too weak. I was too anything. I could not move. And I'm like, okay, I have to get up. Like, Brandy needs food. Like,
who's Brandy?
My Alma's daughter.
Oh.
I'm like, if I don't go, Alma doesn't get a paycheck. And if Alma doesn't have a paycheck, how is she going to take care of her kid? I'm like, I got to find it. I got to find this, dig deep in me. And as I'm laying there, I'm like, okay, my hand's too weak. and I figured out I could move my big toe. And I was like, okay, I'm going to keep moving my big toe until I can move my foot. And I just did that through my whole body till I could find the strength to physically sit up and get to the shower so I could get to work. It was like an hour and a half, I think, took me to get up. And
an hour and a half to peel yourself out of bed.
Yeah.
How old were you at this time?
I think I don't like age. I don't like talking about ages.
I think
put a stereotype on people around their age.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Then what I'd rather ask is the following, because here's what I'm saying. I'm asking this question because people don't know your age right now. People who are young get cancer is the point I want to make, and so I just thought maybe some listeners might be wondering, is this person in their 50s, 60s, 70s? But it seems to me you were in your younger years when this occurred to you.
And at that time, I had never known anyone that wasn't very old that got cancer.
Correct.
And I had known no one that survived.
Correct.
Now, you're exactly right. More and more young people are getting cancer earlier, and there's more and more support for people, which is so great. Like, reach out and get the help you need because a lot exists right now. I did have some great support groups that were really helpful for me that helped me get through that stuff, too. So, but it took finding them, and that part's great.
The point I wanted to emphasize is like, my divorce was in my 20s, and that was just traumatic for me.
Yeah.
That the difficult things, even when a person's in their 20s or early 30s or whatever, they happen to younger people, and those younger people can find the wherewithal inside. And then it changes you permanently for the rest of your life.
Yeah, and hopefully for the better.
Right. So if anyone's listening is like, I'm 25 and I'm going through some major, major shit. It's like, yeah, people in their 20s and 30s do.
That's how you skin your knees. And I wish there was another way. Like, why is it? This is the question I ask myself all the time. Why is it that we can never really learn the lesson from someone else? Why do we always have to fall on our knees and scrape our face and like skin our elbows for us to learn the lesson? Why can't we go like, Amer went through some shit. I'm going to not do that because I see it turned out terrible for him. Like, why are we like, so like, I'll do it different.
Crazy, right?
It won't be as traumatic for me.
The human ego. Welcome to the human ego.
Right?
Arrogance. Oh man, my effing weakness. All right. So you peel yourself out of bed. The months start to go by. The years starts to go by. I mean, do you quickly go into remission and you're back in your business and things are plugging along? What happens?
That'd be super amazing. No, I took another blow the next year.
The next year. So wait, but did you?
So this is 08.
Okay.
I get done with first round of cancer?
You get done with first round of cancer?
Healthy. I'm technically in remission.
Technically in remission.
Yeah. And
so you thought you were in the all clear?
Totally thought I was all clear. I was like, sweet. My business just turned 2. I'm single, like the divorce had gone final. My business is growing, and my business kept growing through all this stuff, which was really awesome. Top line growth, not bottom line growth, which is relevant later.
Meaning revenues were going up, profit may not have been going up.
Right.
Got you.
Because I didn't know to look for it.
Okay.
So, then end of that year, so end of 08, I learned I had stage 4 cancer. So we're not even a year out.
Was the first cancer not stage 4?
No, it was stage 2.
So that means it was caught earlier.
Yeah.
Stage 4 is obviously the serious one, right?
Yeah, that is not a 5.
Oh, there's a stage 5?
There's not a stage 5.
Oh, there's not a stage 5. Thank you. Yeah, it's blurry in my head. So you had stage 4, and yeah, I mean at this point you're like, what is up? Why stage 4 is serious?
Yeah, that's where it was like.
Was it a return of your original cancer?
Yeah, but it had metastasized to somewhere else. And that was the problem.
Yeah.
And so that's where that's when I really that was when it was dark. Like the first time I was like, fuck cancer, I can do this.
I got this, right.
Like whatever. And the second time I got real quiet about it. Like there was not many people I told. I had to like go, am I going to make it through this? Is there an expiration date on me that's sooner than I want? What's it going to take? And now do I want to go through this again in business? Because it was always like there's this pivotal moments in time, those earmark things when you can go back in time and go, if I did this, but I did this. And at that point, totally. No one would have. One person would have said, "Go for it." Like shut down the business,
focus on your health,
get healthy, do whatever,
restart the business later.
Yeah, pick up and start again. And it just there was something in me that was like, I was like, no, I believe in this business, and I believe in helping people, and I believe that I will make it through. And I just kept coming back to like my own beliefs that it's in us. We're all here for a reason. We may not get it. We may not understand it. And we may never understand it. Or sometimes through a lot of personal growth and development, you figure it out. So to everyone that's listening, like just even if you don't get it, keep betting on you.
Keep betting on you.
Yeah.
And so you see yourself as saying, I'm going to keep this business going. I'm going to believe in my recovery.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't make sense to me, or if I have zero chance, I'm going to believe in that. And so I'm going to bet on me as a horse, and I'm going to bet that this horse is going to win.
Yep. And all the medical people I was talking to were like, literally, I was told, if you're alive in your 10 years, you're a success story.
If you're alive, what?
In 10 years, you'll be a success story.
It's been 10 years, right?
This year's 10 years.
Hey!
Yay!
Wow.
I'm still here.
Yeah, that's right, baby. Congratulations. That's beautiful.
Yeah, this is 10 years. This is the year. So it was cool. August 24th, I got to stop taking my daily preventative medicines. So I'm like,
oh, really?
Free. Yeah, like I'm back.
2.5 months ago.
Yeah. Wow. So good.
Good for you. Congratulations. That's amazing. Okay, so you dig deep. You're like, I may not want to do this, and then you're like, no, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go for it.
Yeah.
And so you go for it. What does that mean? Like, so you basically double down on your health and your health care. You double down on your business. Is that your relationships? Do you own it and continue marketing Bald, or is this too serious for you to be doing that?
So my hair had grown back, and they decided that chemotherapy nearly killed me. They're like,
the first time around?
Yeah. So like the anaphylactic shock thing. Like they're like, your body is in it. There's no way I would have survived another round of chemotherapy. Like it just, my body was completely depleted. So they're like, we're going to do radiation. So it was like 33 rounds of radiation. So that means getting up at 7, starting seeing patients at 7 a.m., seeing patients till 3 p.m., driving to Rush, having my radiation, driving home, and being too tired to make dinner. Get up, rinse and repeat again for 33 visits. So 30 is like, so 5 days a week, 33 times. And
6 or 8 week period.
Physically, just I was done. Like and so I was like, okay, how in the hell am I going to do this? How can I do this? And this is where I really leaned on friends, family, my sister, my brother, my like mentors.
Would you have to be very specific in asking for what you wanted?
Yeah.
Or did they read your mind?
No, and that was what was terrible with clarity. I'm much better with clarity today than I was back then.
What do you mean by that?
Like I would be I wish that someone would whatever, but if I didn't say it out loud.
Cook me dinner tonight.
Yeah. And if I didn't say it out loud, then it didn't happen.
Right.
And so I had to
They don't read your mind.
Right. I had to get over my ego of like, I can't make myself dinner and I know I need to eat. I need help.
Yeah.
And those are tough words for someone who's done it all herself.
Right, Miss Independent. Right.
Like I got this, to be able to be like humbled, to really, really dig in deep and go like, no, like I need it. It does take a village.
So John, I was looking at you and all this because, like that day you were supposed to be on the podcast was like a day where you opened up, I listened, I benefited, and it appeared to me that you benefited too. And I was like, hey, this is why you don't isolate or shut down or whatever. This is a great example of, people benefiting.
You close yourself off from other people, and you can't go through life just being by yourself. That's not how.
We're social beings.
Yeah, we're social animals. Jinx.
You finished my sentence. So thank you, Michele, for that very, very inspiring comment that I feel like came from a place in your heart that is like very sincere. Like you it's a hard fought lesson for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I spent way too many dark days.
Me too.
Yeah, when you're like crying at 3 a.m, be like, why am I choosing to cry alone? Why am I not picking up the phone call?
Right, totally. Totally. Welcome to America, I feel like, right?
Just life anywhere, I think.
Well, I think in the Eastern traditions, especially when I travel to the Middle East, they don't seem to suffer from this. They're more tribal. They're more family oriented.
Interesting.
They're just all around each other a lot, and so it doesn't feel weird to cry with your family. Whereas in America, I feel like we're more individualistic, and so it's like, oh, I don't want my brother to see me weak. And it's like it's just different. I feel like in other parts of the world.
Yeah. Well, I hope we bring that here.
Yes, amen. It goes back to the comment about like kids in school and just getting kids mental health help.
Yeah.
All right. So huge challenge number 2 for you that you kind of double down on.
Yeah.
And so again, you don't turn your business down. You continue to invest in it. You invest in yourself. You bet on yourself. And I mean, as we're seeing here, like you come out of it. Was it a long period of time or was it short? Or?
So it was sort of like after I was done with all that, and I was marked as okay, you're healthy, but with an asterisk. You're healthy, but with an asterisk. Like, right, you're healthy, but if you're alive in 10 years, you'll be a success story. Wow. Like their success story, not my own. Right? They will you'll be alive. That'll be great. So it's kind of a weird way to live, and it's the narrative that plays initially every single day, and then it quiets over time. It quieted over time for me, but it was still there. And so it was still just like, I have to do this. I believe in this. Now I've made it through all of this. So what happened next was when like the recession ended, that's when everyone's like, yay, and went back to work. Well, that's the time when I realized that I wasn't doing business as well as I could because I wasn't looking at the bottom line.
During the years you were recovering or fighting cancer.
And it was just like, because it was, what do I need to do today? What do I need
just
to do
to get
tomorrow?
by?
Like I wasn't thinking long term because I didn't know if long term was going to be there.
Right.
And so
let me just get Brandy paid or Ummi.
Yeah, I'll pay for Brandy's food, right? And so it was really interesting. And then what happened was when the patients all went back to work. They're like, well, I haven't had a job in 3 years. I'm going back to work and I can't care for my health anymore.
Wait, what patients? What do you mean?
So my patients, so in my business, right? So my clientele, all my patients, as soon as the recession ended, our patient visits dropped.
Really?
Because everyone was like, I will do whatever it takes to
get a
my
job
and keep my job.
And keep my job.
Right? And so all of a sudden I realized I had 11 employees and I was incorrectly staffed. I didn't have reserves. I was like, oh my gosh. And now I'm like freaking out. And so when it came time for bills, and this was, I can't even count the number of days, but it would be like literally that 3 a.m., like crying on the floor, being like, it's Monday, and by Friday I need to come up with $30,000 or whatever it is.
For payroll or bills or rent or whatever. Wow.
All of it
30
coming
grand,
together.
right.
And I'm like, and I've got like $2,500 now.
Wait, this sounds like a specific moment. Was there a moment where these numbers are real and this was really happening?
Yeah.
Shit. So you Monday morning, you're like, oh shit, I need 30 grand by Friday in whatever, 72 hours or 96 hours.
Yeah.
And I've only got 2 grand in the bank.
Right. How do I do it?
How do I get 28 grand? So what'd you do?
Working my account.
Well, a lot of people would shut down.
Right. Exactly. And that was like another come to Jesus of like, do I keep doing this?
Investing in yourself.
Yeah. Do I? And then I'm like, well, I've done it this long.
Why give up now?
Right. I'm like, and so I did whatever. I cried a lot. I unfortunately isolated a lot during that time. Went to my bank and said, help me out. And literally they were like, no, we don't lend money.
Yeah, you're not the person we want to lend to.
Right. Like all the things. So I went back to it felt like it was day one in business. Didn't have money in the bank. So I ran my personal credit card to cover payroll.
Whoa, no shit. How did you do that? Like a cash advance?
No. So, you have your credit card terminal. Right, if you have a business.
Oh, you did that.
I literally would be like, okay, I need $8 grand to cover payroll, $8,000.
Charge on Michele Kehrer's credit card. You ran your own credit card through your own credit card machine. Gangster move. Well done.
And it had to be 2 days early because it had to it took 2 days
settle
for it to get banked.
Yeah,
so
the money
Wednesday,
doesn't go. Yeah, it's not instantaneous.
Yeah,
the batch doesn't happen until the next day or two.
Totally. Oh man, it was rough. And so then
30, you rang up 30 G's in your credit card.
Yeah,
that is investing in yourself. Absolutely.
Because I'm so proud. Like the one thing, I always paid my bills. Even at the darkest time, my employees always got paid. Like everything was they didn't miss. Like I went without, but they didn't miss out. Because it was my thing. So, is it out? So, but then, and that just became a cumulative thing. And all of a sudden I looked and I was like $250,000 in debt.
No. You did that like almost 10 times.
Yeah.
$250,000.
$250,000 in debt.
Was it all credit card?
Or those, like, I literally did those high interest bank loan things that aren't really like loan shark money, because I was like,
You basically called Tony Soprano.
pretty much. Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
shit.
But it was what I had to do.
20+%.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Insanity. And I look back and I'm just like, oh my gosh.
What was I doing, right?
To what end? But it's to the best end, right?
It bought you a lifeline.
Yeah.
It bought you some time.
I needed a little bit of a runway. I kept shopping banks.
Because the next thing you do is you declare bankruptcy. If you max out your credit cards, you max out Tony Soprano's, you declare bankruptcy. Although Tony could get ugly.
But it was in credit card debt. That was like all of it. And it would have been really easy to just do that. And it was right after the recession. It
would have been easy to just declare bankruptcy.
Right. No.
And after the recession, it makes sense.
Totally.
No one would judge you.
Right. And but that's not how I was raised. That's not it. That's not how it goes down. I got myself into this mess, albeit for good reasons. I'm gonna get myself out of it.
So how did you get out of it?
Just scrappy, tenacious. Okay, what do I need? What's most broken? How do I fix?
Squeaky wheel gets the oil. Is that what it is?
Yeah, fix the things that are most broken fastest, the biggest bang for my buck fastest, and then repair my credit. Pay everything on time, and find a whole lot of mentors.
Did your credit get damaged? Were you missing payments?
No, but it was just your debt to equity ratio.
Oh yeah, you're limited. You hit your limits on everything.
When you have all your credit cards are maxed out, that
debt to equity, 100%
takes that takes a hit.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And so what's the so that sounds like it's after the recession. So 2011. This is like 8 years ago, 9 years ago. Wow, what a powerful time for you in your life. It's a lot of shit's happening.
Yeah.
So how did you? So I guess, presumably because you're sitting here and with a successful business, you must have been able to pay that $250 back.
Yeah. So I just scrapped. I was like, how can I do this? And I
hustle.
Yep. Get more business, help more people, do all the things. And a fun fact, this wasn't planned, but it sounds like it was totally planned. But I actually paid off 100% of the debt 2 days ago.
Oh yeah, right. You're telling me that. Amazing.
And it was just
the last payment for this $250,000 was just a couple days ago.
So my business is totally debt free.
So almost 8 or 9 years to pay all that back.
Yeah.
Wow, that's powerful. But I mean, along the way as you're paying that back, you were able to build up enough business to start making an income for yourself.
Totally.
While taking that payment, that interest payment and that loan payment into consideration.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so now the business is debt free.
Yes.
Wow. How many employees do you currently have?
So what is there, 8 or 9 of us?
Okay.
Yeah.
And are your sales at the highest they've ever been, or is it because you have only one location, you said?
Both.
You have 2 locations right now?
No, one location, but it's the it's the highest it's ever been, and
just one location.
Doing things really well.
No shit.
Yeah, doing things better than I've ever done it.
Okay, and so then what are the things you've learned? So one of the things I heard you talk about was reserves. And so literally if you make $5,000 or $10,000 in profit one month, right away of that $10,000, $1,000 goes straight into a reserve?
No, I do it the other way. I'm my gross profit. So not net profit. I don't take 10% of net profit. I take 10% of gross profit like it's a bill.
Do you mean, when you say gross profit, do you mean of sales?
Top line. Yep.
Oh.
10% of top line money before I pay any bills goes into reserves.
Damn. Okay, your reserves must be pretty big right now.
I'm doing pretty
good. You're taking a big number. That's good. So why do you? That's just to basically have to make you less fragile.
Yeah, it's an insurance policy.
So you have your own insurance policy.
Something happens if what you're saying is true, and we go into a recession, things could get bleak.
Yes, people will go to PT less.
Things aren't going to go down the way it did. I'm not repeating history this time. I will be solidified. Shit
hits the fan.
Yeah.
You'll be able to continue paying your people in a way where you can ride out the recession. If you need to let 1 or 2 go or whatever, you won't even have to do it suddenly with a major traumatic experience for them. It could be with a little bit of cushion for them.
Totally. Yeah. So now it's like that. Then smart. What are we doing? What's our marketing look like? How do we make sure every single day the person that's coming in for care gets the best treatment they can have. Like, hey,
so wait, so those reserves somehow allow you to be a better marketer, but also a better operator? Like your patients actually could get better care because of those reserves in some way?
Well, it's not about the reserves. It's more like these are the other things that I'm doing. Like reserves, great. Like that check, that box. Now,
you know what though?
How can we do, and it's safety. So
I was going to say, like, actually the reserves do allow you to have better care. You know why? By you less worried about finances, you have brain capacity. You've got bandwidth to worry about the damn patients, who are the most important things.
And my employees, most important things.
Yes. They're your most important clients.
Yeah, totally. Like keeping my employees healthy is as important as
that's a huge lesson for me to hear right now. All right, so you're saying, yeah, the value of reserves is not just financially. It actually helps you deliver a better product to both employees and clients.
Yeah.
That's good. That's smart.
And we talk about it. Like part of our goal setting, like we have company goals and then every single person has their own goals. And the company goals is 10% of profit goes into reserves. And
by the way, you keep saying profit.
That.
It's not. It's 10% of sales.
Sales, 10% of sales. Yeah,
which you got to understand. That's a huge number. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Because a lot of people, like 10% of their sales, they barely have 10% of their sales as profit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Wow. So okay,
10%
and
of sales. Yeah.
Yeah, 10% of sales. And you by doing this, people will throw money at you. They'll just lend you money left and right because they know you're financially healthy.
Yep.
Unsecured, and you can grow your business if you so choose.
Yeah.
That's powerful too. What are some staffing issues? What are some secrets, hard-fought lessons you've learned about staffing? Did you ever suffer from high turnover?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I don't know anyone that doesn't go through that.
I'm struggling with it right now.
It's part of taking our own responsibility for it. I probably hired incorrectly. I didn't have clarity in what their role was. I didn't set clear expectations, and I let it all, let the snowflake turn into an avalanche before I handled the problem. So getting clear on what their role is, what they're supposed to do, and then me getting clarity on what my role is has helped take that turnover down a lot.
What do you mean by getting clear on your role? Meaning as owner?
Yeah, as owner, as manager, as leader, and if I say, okay, Amer, here's what you're responsible for, and I never check to see if you're doing it.
Oh, so no accountability.
Right. Because I was like, one of the things I used to suffer from was wanting to be right, or be liked, rather, excuse me. So in order to be liked, you rarely hold people accountable. Because
they may not like you.
Right. Lesson learned.
There's a way. So what have you arrived at? There's that to hold them accountable, fine, you're considered mean, or are you holding them accountable in a way where they don't see you as mean?
Now, yes, because I got resolved within my own self that I'm actually doing a service to them by saying, hey, this is what we're about. This is what our expectations are. It makes for a cleaner working environment. Like if you know what you're supposed to do, you walk in the door and these are the things you're supposed to do. Then you're going to do it. And when you do it, everyone's happy. And if you get stuck on something, then we can work together to get through it.
Right. Okay, so you learn to get clear on their role and get clear on your role, especially as it comes to accountability manager, if you will.
Yeah.
Holding them accountable. I got you. That's cool. That's powerful. And that takes time. You don't clearly see your role or their role on day one. You got to go into battle and screw it up a bunch, I bet.
Oh, totally.
That's what I'm going through right now, is screwing it up a bunch. Okay, cool. Powerful. So now, okay, so you've invested in yourself a lot. You doubled down on yourself, your health, your finances, your business, your employees. You doubled down on all that. What? It sounds to me, I'm wondering about the rewards. Just the rewards, business rewards, financial rewards, but personal rewards as well. So like of all those, business rewards, financial rewards, personal rewards, which one to you is the most, that you cherish the most?
Freedom.
And what does that mean to you?
Freedom of time, freedom of not having to worry about the money side of it, freedom to create bigger and better, freedom to be with my team in a different way, like freedom to be with them in the journey of their career growth. Instead of being like, this is how you do it, be like, how do you want to play a role in?
So you're not a slave to something, it sounds like.
Right.
What are you not a slave to by by investing in yourself the last decade, 2 decades, whatever it is, the last number of years, 13 years, you're saying you're no longer a slave to what? Is that a way to think about it?
Anything anymore.
Really?
Whereas it used to be all the time it was something. Like, what fire do I have to put out? What's the next thing? What shoe is going to drop? What is always looking for, like, kind of like walking on eggshells of like what could possibly go wrong or more wrong, And now
anxiety,
like,
panics, financial
everything.
Panics, employee turnover panics,
health scares, all of it. Now I'm like, I'm good.
Wait, when you say health scares, are you
health scares?
Health scares. Are you free? Do you consider yourself free from health scares?
Yep. Now I am. Just happened. Like,
well,
my doctors are like, you're good.
But I mean, technically, I'm
no more or less susceptible than anyone else, right?
Correct. I do think, however, you do carry a different quote unquote chip on your shoulder. I mean that in a positive way. What I mean is, like, I've kind of been through some shit. So if, God forbid, a health scare were to hit you, you'll probably go through that in a very different way than someone like myself would, who hasn't experienced a major health scare. Do you know what I mean?
That's fair. That's very fair. I can see that. Yeah.
Almost
I
like
thought about it like that.
Almost like I may be. Let's see. I may not have the freedom to let go of the control over my health that you may now have a little bit more freedom and not be so controlling over your own health. I don't know. Does that resonate or no?
It does. And then it's kind of that makes me think of like what came up for me on that is like, so I work with all sorts of athletes and people, and the first time a person does a marathon, like, they don't know what's coming. They're just out doing it. Like, it's all brand new. And then they go like, okay, I'm going to do another marathon and I want to do it better. That second marathon is so much harder because they know what's coming. They know when they're going to hurt. They know what's going to go down, like when it's going to happen. So like, there's the power of naivete. Well, now, like, being where I've been in all of it, like, I'm not naive anymore. If something shows up, God forbid that cancer comes around again or something, it's like I have my process.
Yeah.
Like, I know what to do. I know where it's going to get rough. I know how to do it. Not to make it that it's going to be any easier, but it's that I see it coming.
Yeah. You exactly. You won't be a slave to all of its darkness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like, nope, I know darkness comes. I get it, Whereas me, I think I would, because I'm new to it, I would potentially, suffer more and be not have the freedom you might have around that, So free, and then go back to the freedoms of the business. So freedom with time. What do you mean by that?
I do what I love right now. Like, I'm not in the muck anymore. I've delegated out all the stuff I don't like. I mean, there's still stupid stuff like you have to like handle. I mean, I still get paid for it, right? It's not all like fun and games 24/7. But most of the stuff that I don't like doing, I've found someone that likes doing it. So that's all gone. So the stress of the day to day is easier.
How would you describe your day to day role? Are you physically there every single day?
No. Yeah, it's kind of fun. So yeah, in fact, like a good example is yesterday of like, I went in just to check on things, and it was so rough. Everyone in Chicago knows, like, yesterday the rain was white. It was terrible. So I went
Snow on Halloween.
Oh God, so bad. So I went in and just sat and chatted with them, and I'm like, what's going on, guys? And they're like, no, we're good. I'm like, cool. I'm like, do you need anything from me? And they're like, no, we're good. Like, just go do your marketing. You don't have to be here. So I was in the office for, I think it was like 7 minutes or something. And then the rest of my time, I'm like, okay, how do I make sure that we have a pipeline of like great new patients and new referral sources? How do we make sure we have more people to help? That's more what I'm doing now. I'm doing more higher levels, more strategy. Like, what do I want to do in next year? If we're going to open a second clinic, when we open a second clinic, when will that be? At what time frame? What are the logistics that need to go down in it? Okay, well, we need to do inventory. We need to have a space. We need to have a budget. We need to like know all these other things. There's a way of communicating. So I'm like way more high level than I'm like grinding.
And of the roles, whether it's chief financial officer or chief operations officer, making sure the place operates well and everyone's accountable, it sounds like it's the third one, chief marketing officer, that you spend a lot of time in more than anything else.
Yeah, like CEO, CMO. Yeah, that probably would resonate most with me. Yeah, operations. No one wants me. They all know. They don't want me. You don't want me in operations. They'll muck it all up for everybody.
Interesting. Wow.
It's not how my brain works.
But you had to be really good at it in order to like hold the accountability, create the accountability systems, and then hold. Now, but you do have to hold, even though you might not be holding the individual therapist accountable, his or her manager is probably someone who reports to you, right? In a way where you need to make sure that manager is holding the individual therapist accountable. Is that true?
And I've set it up in that everyone sort of is accountable to each other too. And that's why like the company has goals and I have goals. So I'm accountable to the company, which everybody reports to, right? I'm accountable to myself and my team. Like if I don't get my goals, if I don't meet my goals, they're not going to be able to meet their goals. So we're all accountable to each other.
Can you make it more concrete? Like what would be an example of one or two of your goals versus their goals?
Yeah. So for me, like for the company goal was, get X number of new patients. So my personal goal is get a new referral source for that quarter. Their goal is maintain their productivity, and then the front desk is decrease cancellations.
Got it.
So it starts up here, and then everyone, what's your role in making sure the company achieves that goal?
Right. Got it.
So
I see. So individually, an individual therapist may be giving extra high-quality customer service to that client to make sure they come back.
Yep.
The desk may be extra nice, extra
communicating their financial things so they don't get any surprises.
Surprises, right, and they don't get paid or cancellations.
Yep.
Calling up second call, third call, text ahead of time, so on and so forth. And then you're doing your thing out there in the field.
Yeah.
Got it. And so how do you do that? What marketing secrets or strategies or things have you uncovered after years of doing this? You're like, man, I wish I knew that day one.
Part of it is you have to talk about what you're good at. Right, that was one of the things that I struggled with.
Pitch yourself.
Right.
Know what you're good at and yell it out loud, announce it out loud.
Right, and don't be afraid to say it. You know, like don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to say that you're great at something.
We are the best. For example, we are the best physical therapy institution or company there is when it comes to vertigo. We just are. I believe this, and I know we are. Here's some stories to prove it.
Right.
Is that an example of what you would go out and say?
Absolutely. When you want your patients to get better, send them to us.
Right. So you would say that to a doctor or someone like that, right?
Or even when I'm out and about, you know, you're going to networking events and things like that. And just like anytime I'm talking about how great the company is and what we do. And
not shying away from it at all.
Right. Leaning into that.
So that was one of the biggest things you learned over time was just lean into that.
Yeah.
Anything else? Like places to go or networking events to go to? Like, did it take time for you to figure out, wait, these are the people I really need to be focusing on?
Yeah.
Or does that change?
In the beginning, I think as anyone's brand new in business, they're scrappy, and the important thing is go to everything you possibly can, right? As long as you're of high energy, and then be able to figure out, like, track, okay, when I did this is what happened. So you can, like, go, okay, this is what's good, do more of that. This doesn't work, cut that out faster. So, and the other thing is caring for our past patients. So we do a lot of communication with our current and past patients because they're our biggest referral source. Caring for someone, making sure they get better and they feel like it was a great experience for them, they're going to turn around and refer friends and family.
Makes sense. John, I love you. You're so near and dear to me in my heart, brother.
Love you too, buddy.
Thank you, man. I hear you breathing in my left ear heavily.
Yeah.
Am I too close to the mic?
It's a really sensitive mic, apparently. Like, I'll hear it.
Yeah.
Were you heering it?
Yes, very much so. Yeah.
Sorry,
I didn't know that
listeners.
was a bother. I was just breathing heavy. I'm just trying to keep track of
All the details.
I want to wrap up, but I do. Like, I'm wrestling with a lot of this right now. That's where these questions are coming from, Michele. Like, I'm wrestling with, like, have you done any? Like, I've been wrestling with media stuff and trying to get the name of the restaurant is Cedars, trying to get the name more out in the community. I've been, like, supporting the community, going to various community events and just meeting people and saying hi, taking pictures. Phil's Coffee. Have you heard of Phil's Coffee? Yeah. Love that place. One of my favorite places. They had a ribbon cutting ceremony in Hyde Park for their location, and I'm like, yo, I'm gonna go to that, just meet the store leader, and say what's up. Took a picture, met the alder woman, met the store leader. It was cool. I brought the chef with me that works at Cedars. And lo and behold, like the chef had these ideas for fills, and he's like, "Hey, we can bring you this mango pomegranate salad, or could you make us a Cedars blend from fills of coffee, and we can put it in our restaurant for our customers." And all this stuff started to pop. And then, lo and behold, they put the picture in the newspaper, and sure enough, my name's there, the chef's name's there, the fills. So, like, that was powerful for me. Do you do much in the way of media, or do you focus more on going to doctors' offices and networking events?
Yeah, I would love, I think the media, I think that's its own special, like you have to have your attention on that. I did that early in my career, and I would have loved to do more of that. But really what I found is like going to the people that are the dizziest or going to the people that are in the most pain.
That's not funny. You're trying to find the dizziest people in the world?
Yeah, like truly, like, because I'll get them not dizzy. You want to go to places where they're hungry. Right?
Oh,
you want to talk to hungry people, right? You
never thought about it that way.
You don't want to go. You're not going to go hit up the like outside or like a buffet or like an all you can drink. Like right? It's like, so where is your time? Like where is that valuable?
Where are people hungry?
Where are the people hungry?
That's smart. All right. So okay. So not a ton in the way of media, and then. So how do you find the dizziest people? Like you just hit up doctors or what?
So, talking to them, like, so now we've been in business for a while. So like one of the things is when we're talking to a patient, part of getting to know them, well, who else did you see before you saw us? What else do you like to do?
And that actually acts as a marketing resource for you.
Right. So then we go,
we
we
got
a whole bunch of people that are like, all right, this is what I do. This is where I hang out. And we got 5 patients from that particular thing. That's where I'm going to go and hang out.
So you're telling me, Amer, for you, get to know your customers better.
Absolutely.
Find out where they're at, who they're hanging out with, and you never know. You might find out 10 of your clients are from the Hyde Park Union Church.
Yep.
You should probably be talking to people at the church because apparently there's a buzz about you at that church. Get in there. And what I would do is probably cater to their next event for free. Like, hey, this is on us. You guys have been awesome customers.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
And make sure I go on a day where they're hungry.
Yeah.
Boom. Makes sense. So that's so the marketing is what you focus on. Like that's how I think about it lately. Is like let me get business in the door for all these employees to be able to like kick ass and show themselves and prove themselves. Yeah. And that's what the chef I work with, who I've hired recently, he keeps saying is like, hey, you look good, you talk good, you get out there and just bring in the business. I'm like, I can do it. Yep. I'll do it, coach. Like I can do that. So I feel comfortable doing that, and that's a big focus as a leader. Yeah. But also the accountability piece is important, and I'm personally struggling with that right now because I do get concerned about them being like, he's coming down too hard on us. So I got to find that balance. And
one of the things I did was they pick their own goals. If we pick someone else's goals, how often are we going to get, like, if I tell you, here's your goal is to get, whatever, you're going to be like, that's your goal, not mine. So I say,
what's your goal?
Yeah. Here's the company goals. How do you fit into it? And now how do you write a goal?
How do you fit into it?
That will show that you're a part of this company.
That's a smart way to run a company and help your employees grow.
And now they own it because it's theirs.
Meaning they have an owner's mentality. Oh, they own the goal.
They own the goal. Yeah.
And they probably feel like they own a little bit of the company with that.
Right. Because now it's we made our goals. We're successful as a group. We all are in this together.
Right. Everyone's got their own goal. Company got its own goal. Yeah. Beautiful. Michele, you're a wonderful human being. I'm so happy you're alive. May God give you hundreds of years of life.
Thank you. This has been such a pleasure. It's so fun to know both of you now. This is great.
John?
Yeah. Yes.
Have you ever met anyone that has defeated stage 4 cancer?
No.
Powerful, right?
Yeah. It's a unique experience right now.
Amen. It really is. All right. Thank you all for listening. Peace out.
Peace.